Tired of ads barging into your favorite news podcasts? Good news. Ad-free listening on Amazon Music is included with your Prime membership. Just head to amazon.com/ad-free news podcasts to catch up on the latest episodes without the ads. Enjoy thousands of Acast shows ad-free for Prime subscribers. Some shows may have ads.
Hey, I'm Ryan Reynolds. At Mint Mobile, we like to do the opposite of what Big Wireless does. They charge you a lot, we charge you a little. So naturally, when they announced they'd be raising their prices due to inflation, we decided to deflate our prices due to not hating you. That's right. We're cutting the price of Mint Unlimited from $30 a month to just $15 a month. Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
$45 up front for 3 months plus taxes and fees. Promo rate for new customers for limited time. Unlimited more than 40 gigabytes per month. Slows full terms at mintmobile.com.
Okie dokie, guys. Hello, welcome to Heavy Metal Tones with me, your podcast host, Tony Evans. This week's episode, as you've seen by the title, I'm sure you've seen it, that we're going to talk about women in modern metal. The reason I'm bringing this up as a subject is that I've been recently very, very enamoured and bewitched by a particular band that I will talk about in the second half, or two bands actually. But for some time now, I've sort of really been a champion on my Facebook page and in my general life of the rise of female participation in the metal scene. I mean, for many, many years, it was seen as a misogynistic male environment, and do you know what? It probably is to a lot of extent still the same, which is what I'm trying with this particular episode to dispel. I think it's a load of horse piss, personally, pardon my French. I don't know, I couldn't think of a swear word that it just came out of my head. Who knows what that is? Anyway, so I have two adult daughters, both of them well adjusted, both of them doing very well in life, and I don't think that we should label and pigeonhole people, music, and things in general in life, really. Am I feminist? Yes, I am. I mean, I think that's a really moot word, isn't it? Because if you just get on with life and enjoy everyone for who they are, not what sex they are, then you're a feminist, aren't you, really? It doesn't matter. Anyway, it's labels again. So I'm trying to get away from labels. So for many years, as I said, you grew up listening to heavy metal. It's all male dominated. It's spandex. It's big hair. It's macho posturing. It's guitar solos. It's aggression, and people see that females are that can't be the case. This is absolute rubbish, as I just said. Because if you go back to the birth of heavy metal, like modern heavy metal, so at Newobham in the UK, you have Girls' School, and I saw Girls' School a couple of years ago at the Basement with Benji and a couple of friends of mine, and it just took my head off. They're amazing live. I know someone who used to date the original singer, guitarist. Sadly, she's passed away, but yes. So and they did stuff with Motorhead and The Damned and stuff. So really, can't say that there hasn't been females in bands. I mean, right back in rock and roll, Janis Joplin. You go right back to those early 60s female bands. They're there if you want to look for them, and they really are the progenitors of females in rock and roll. And of course, not just that, but if you look beyond that into the blues and into the soul and jazz arenas, very heavily dominated with females. So females have been predominant in music for a long time. It's just heavy metal seems to be quite masculine. And then you get bands like Warlock with Doro and the Runaways with Joan Jett. I wouldn't say Runaways are a heavy metal band, by no means. They're more of a punk/glam rock band. But not glam, sorry, sort of rock and roll, just sort of good old fashioned rock and roll. But what really changed, I think, for women in music, in rock music, was the punk movement, because punk came along and it knocked down all the walls of race and of gender and equality, and anyone and everyone could make music. And some of the best punk bands out there are female punk bands, to be honest. I mean, one of my favourites is Polystyrene's X-Ray Specs. You know, and again, if you don't know that band, pause this, put on World Thursday Glow on YouTube, go and find their album Germ-Free Adolescence, one of the best albums ever made, and I think you'll sort of come round to my thinking. But what I'm thinking of at the moment is modern female music. So recently, with the advent of sort of YouTube and me doing work with Metal Ruse, the online heavy metal music review magazine, I've come across some stuff that I probably would never come across before, and truly it's sort of blown my mind. And why I tell you what, I'm going to go on a limb here, and I think that the female-fronted and female bands, that's not just singers, that's guitarists, bass players, drummers, synths, you know, you name it, they often, I will go and put, if I have two albums to listen to, and one is a traditional male-oriented heavy metal band, and one is a female-fronted one, I'm probably going to go that way first. Because I really feel that they again, I'm putting things in boxes, but bands with female singers and musicians in them, they tend to not have boundaries. They play music with such gusto and such verve, almost like they have a point to prove. I don't think they do, but in modern world, let's be honest, they clearly do. But they just play a rock and roll and heavy metal and punk and stuff with all the vigor and vim and verve of young women. It's just really exciting and entertaining, and I love the barrier breaking of it. You know, I mean, bands like, okay, I'm going to say these are modern bands that I listen to that are have female elements. So Nightwish, Epica, Lacuna Coil, Arch Enemy. In This Moment, I'll tell you something, I saw In This Moment at Soundwave with Maria Brink. She's the lead singer. She's absolutely gorgeous, tattooed blonde. What a voice. She mixes the vocal of sort of your death metal vocals and your clean vocals. She's sultry and aggressive and terrifying at the same time. I can imagine teenage boys being extremely in awe and also very scared of her. I saw her live with her band, and man, what a commanding room. She came out and she came into the middle of the audience and sang in the middle of the circle pit. We could not take our eyes off her and the band. She just drew us to the band. I'm not saying the band, guys, if you're listening to this, I'm not saying it's only her. No. The band are brilliant. It was a 3-piece band, I think, when I saw them. And it just drew... 4-piece. And it drew us in. And it was just a short set because it was a festival set. It was a hot day. But, yeah, she just... she's got a song called Gun Club. Brilliant. Brilliant albums. Visually exciting as well. Again, that's another thing I think you're going to get with some of the bands like Nightwish, which is more your... symphonic, and Epica is more symphonic, but then you've got your more harder stuff, Lacuna Coil and Arch Enemy and Hailstorm. I think they're another band I have not seen live. They came and played in Canberra. I missed it. Bang. And they apparently are very good live as well. I could read them off a list. What I'll do is in the show notes, I'm going to put links to a lot of bands I may have missed here in the conversation, and links to the two bands we're going to talk about in the second half. So I mean, why is it important that we get behind these this movement, these women that are doing their best to let's be honest, get a small foothold in a very male-dominated genre. It's important because with doing so, we bring in a different audience. So you get the audience like me that's just interested in music and wants to see it grow in all directions and go, brilliant, I don't care your colour, your creed, your religion or your sex, I just want to listen to you make good music and make me fill my head with good music. And then there are people that are a bit nervous and not sure, I don't know if I like heavier, I want to listen to heavier stuff, but I find I'm intimidated. I mean, the classic Spinal Tap moment, where he says, the guitarist says, we have the women are intimidated because they look at our pants and we've got monsters in our pants, right? And it sort of intimidates them. I think that's probably true for some description or other. But I think we need to bring more people into it. So the more people we bring into it, the more people that go, hey, I'm going to pick a guitar up. Hey, I'm going to start singing. Hey, I might want to go and produce. I want to learn how to record. I'm going to do podcasts. I'm going to do a YouTube channel. I'm going to grow. And so then the ever-diverting, the ever-growing medium that we love isn't going to die anytime soon. And let's face it, it could do that. We live in a world of digital music and fickle music, and young people buy the records or do the downloads, and if they're not, connected, they're going to walk away, whether it's great music or not. And we've seen that with quite a few bands and movements that have come and gone, or bubbled into the background. I mean, look at things like ska and punk for its instance. I mean, it's not the same anymore than it was in 77 or 76 than it is now. It's now bubblegum to most places. It's now easy listening pop music. And it has sort of diversified. What happens is that, I think, and none of us who love the older stuff will just walk away. So if we can get people listening and creating music in all sorts of forms, it might keep it more alive and more the way you like it, and people reaching out. I mean, there's been a new resurgence, I think, in love of Nwabum, and there's a new wave of thrash now. Death metal is more prominent than ever before. I mean, when I do my reviews for Metal Reviews on a Monday, I sit down and do the admin. The email is packed. It's all with diverse black and death metal stuff, really. So if we can get other people coming and listening to other lighter stuff, even, or just rock and roll, or female that's going to make some stuff that's a bit more diverse, even better. Because the more people come in, the more diversity it happens. It's not just an old boys club. Anyway, I'm sort of coming to the end of this particular part of the show, just an introduction. As I said, modern females in metal, let's get behind them, let's have more of them, let's be more diverse, and that not just females, it's all in ethnicities as well. I mean, countries, I mean, I've talked about Crypta before, from India, brilliant. I mean, that's a vast, untapped continent of music lovers that we could make some unbelievably amazing stuff. They do already, and it would be brilliant if we could then make them. I'm not trying to conquer the world with our music, but it would be good if we could just get out from those, just the 5 bands that we might listen to all the time, and open our mind and try something different. Okay, and that's hopefully what I do with this show, guys. I do rabbit on a bit, and I do lose my plot every now and again because I am an old man. But you get where I'm coming from. Anyway, I'm going to go and get myself a cup of tea. I'm going to just get my notes, and we're going to talk about 2 bands after the break, which I think I'd like you to listen to. I think you'd be really interested in, and I think you'd enjoy greatly. Some of you out there I know won't like one of them. Most of you out there will like both of them. So when I say don't like, it's just not your thing, all right? So anyway, talk to you soon, and I'll see you on the other side. Okay, bye guys. Have you ever wanted to learn how to play guitar like a guitar god? You can play a bit but not quite sure. You're getting to a level that you need a little bit of help with. well, you're in luck. Now, there are a lot of online tutorials, there's lots of videos and YouTubes to go to, but a good friend of mine, a guitarist from Pure Envy from Newcastle, started a online guitar school. It's www.metalguitaracademy.com.au. That's www.metalguitaracademy.com.au. It's an in-house and online guitar tuition specialising in heavy metal guitar playing, providing tuition for students ranging from beginners to advanced, focusing on technique, music theory, developing a deep understanding of music. And Joseph, as I said, is a guitar god, is one of my guitar gods. I think he's an amazing guitarist. He wrote the opening and closing guitar piece for me for the show. So that's www.metalguitaracademy.com.au. As I said, that's an in-house and online guitar tuition specialising in heavy metal guitar playing, providing tuition for students ranging from beginner to advanced, focusing on technique, music theory, and developing a deep understanding of music. Oh, yes, and the first lesson is free. He wants to make sure I tell you that. The first lesson is free. So go over there and make yourself one of those guitarists that I and millions of other podcasters might be talking about in the very near future. Welcome back, guys. Thanks for listening to that little infomercial there. As I said, Joseph is a great guy, and I really think that if you want to learn more from him. Anyway, so second half, and the two bands that I talked about in the first, I mentioned, I haven't given their names. The first one is Savage Master. They're from Louisville, Kentucky. Now, they are an interesting band, let's just say the least. I come across them about 3 years ago on a YouTube channel, and I was mesmerized, firstly, by the front singer, the lovely and wonderful Stacey Savage, and also just the interesting visuals of the band. So Stacey Savage is a dark-haired singer with a voice it's unique. It's untrained. It's the first band, and I'm going to say untrained. That's probably not true. She's probably sung before. But what I'm saying is, it's not a polished voice. It's really how I imagine, or how I think of early new album metal bands to be. It's like slightly lo-fi. It's very mesmerizing, entertaining, aggressive. She's got a wonderful vocal that I just absolutely love. Anyway, the band, she's then dresses in things like metal battle bodices and leather gauntlets, and you can just imagine her, turning up on a battlefield with Bodicea, and spitting blood and fighting hard. She's really, I've seen interviews with her, and she's a very soft, lovely person. So that's her stage persona that comes across. And the band themselves, they wear like they wear like bags over their heads, so like executioner masks over their heads, and they're red or they're black. They wear a lot of leather as well, and a lot of chain mail, and they've produced. They're on the Shadow Kings record label. Been going since 2013. I would describe their music as horror occult metal, but it's not aggressive black dark heavy metal. It's not something so hard that if you're not really sure about listening to it, this sort of music, could I get into it? You could, because it's got delicious guitar solos, brilliant bass and drum patterns. It's lyrically really interesting. They have had out several albums. They've had Masks of the Devil, Whips and Chains, and the latest one is Myth, Magic and Steel. And they've had a couple of EPs with Black Hooves and Creatures of the Flames. I have all of them on vinyl. I have all on cassette as well. I find them. You can send a message to them. They'll get back to you. They're really connected with their fans. They have toured Europe a few times. They're mainly the American continent in touring now, obviously with COVID and stuff like that. Their artwork is very Conan the Barbarian style later on anyway. Early stuff is that really nice sort of lo-fi hand-drawn. They almost, if you know the cover for Witchfinder General's first album, it's a bit like that actually. It's a bit like Witchfinder General. The sound is sort of doomy, but it's also rock and rolly. It's got some early Venom feel. It has a punk-esque style feel to it. Lots of punching the air anthems. As I said, Stacey and Adam Neal is the founding member of the band with Stacey. They've had lots of different members of the band, so I'm not going to mention them here because they've gone through a few changes recently. But Adam Neal on guitar, he's the big unit with glasses. Sorry, Adam, I didn't mean that way. You know, you're a big guy. He's the lead guitarist. He plays some chops. He makes the Flying V look tiny. He's that bigger man, right? Tall man. And Stacey commands the stage with great verve. So get out and listen to them. On a side note, a band I forgot to mention earlier, I'm gonna sort of slip it in here, is a band that I really like. Now my mate Matt got me onto this band, Matt Coombs, and they're called the Lizzies or Lizzies. They've disbanded I think recently, but they're a 4-piece Spanish rock and roll band. They do heavy metal and they do heavy rock. I would call them more heavy rock with a light tones to heavy metal. All female, mesmerizing, wonderful rock and roll. I put it on. It's not easy listening, girls. I don't mean that. It is, but it is so easy to listen to and so much fun to play. Again, they've had 2 albums out. And they've had a couple of singles. They've got and Elena, the lead singer, she now has her own band called Curly Mane. Wonderful band. I reached out and bought some shirts from them recently, and it took ages because of lockdown in Spain. And they sent me all this lovely stuff saying thank you for being a fan, like signed stuff. And I got it was just really good. Again, look out for a song called Viper on YouTube. I'll put a link in the show notes below. Brilliant. Lucky is the album. Lucky 8 is the album. Is their first album. Let me pause. I'm going to pause this and give you the name of the albums because I have had a moment. This is what happens, guys, when you don't prepare that bit. I hadn't written that down. I'd make notes, and then all of a sudden I completely forgot to put the Lizzies in, and they were on my actual list to do. I might do them separately in another show one particular week. But anyway, 2 albums. Good Luck was their first album, which is brilliant. And On Thin Ice, again, really good. Only 2 albums, and you can get them from their Bandcamp, Amazon, and they're streaming on Spotify. Highly recommend it. Again, they just remind me of Girls' School. Fun rock and roll with and Elena's Spanish vocal, you know, singing English with a Spanish lilt is, I find it mesmerizing. I love it so much. Now, it might not be heavy enough for some of you people, and that's fine, but we can't always listen to stuff that's going to blow our eyeballs out of our head, can we? Right? We need to have a little light, and I think this is, honestly, they're one of the bands I highly recommend. I would say Good Luck is a 5 out of 5 album for me, straight down. Savage Master's latest album, Myth, Magic and Steel, it's a 5 out of 5 album. In fact, they're all, they're all in that high fives for me, these albums. Anyway, I actually thought that I actually had Savage Master's With Whips and Chains as the best album of that year that it came out. I thought it was the best album I had heard all year, and that's a big call. I'd say that the Lizzies would be similar. I got into the Lizzies after it was released, so I can't say, but I think it would be my pick of the album for that year that I discovered them. Anyway, moving on to the second band, and I think this band, wow, I don't know if I can do them justice, but they're a Brazilian death metal band. Again, Matt, thank you, Matt, man, bang the mic, my metal enabler. He sort of forwarded me this video of a death metal, all female death metal. He knows I like female bands, so he's like, I'll send this to you. And it was a band called Crypta, Crypta, Crypta. And what if I've got that right, I'm dyslexic, guys. If I've misspelled it, I apologise, but it's crypto. It's written how it sounds. An all-female Brazilian death metal band. And I've seen some of the best death metal bands live. I've seen Deicide, and I'm not saying that Cannibal Corpse is a good band, but I've seen them they're heavy, and I've seen them live. You know, I've seen Satyricon and Venom and bands that, you know, when you on record, you know, should absolutely tear your eyeballs out of your head and bowl your head, crap your head off like a bowling ball and roll it down and hook Pinzo with it. It's that heavy, you know, so heavy you can't stand up, sort of stuff. This band, for me, is like that. I couldn't believe the sound that this band was making. This is the best album. They've only released one album so far, and that's Echoes of the Soul. It is the best album of this year. Best album of this year by a long way, and that's I mean, pardon me, that's including a year that Maiden released an album. I think, let's be fair, no, probably the best extreme album of this year. Maiden's still one of the best albums of the year. I shouldn't. Anyway, it's made up of a mostly Brazilian, Portuguese-speaking band. Although the guitarist Sonia Anubis, who used to be in Burning Witches, and again, what a great album they produced in Hex and Hammer. I first listened to Hex and Hammer from Burning Witches. Again, Matt's recommendation. I could not stop. No, it was me. I recommended it to Matt. The wrong way around, Matt. Sorry. I could not stop singing. It was so sing-along and so fantastic. And she's 21 years old and an amazing guitarist. In fact, they all are. Fernanda, and again, I'm sorry, girls, if I'm ruining your beautiful names, but Fernanda Lira on bass and vocals, brilliant. Tanya Bergens Marshy on guitar, and Lovana D'Amanto on drums. I've said them all wrong, I'm sure I have, but you just got to go on their YouTube channel. They've got so much. They're so active in their band's promotion. They do walkthroughs of their songs, how they wrote them. They do live. They do segmented pieces. It's on Napalm Records, so easy to get. You can get it again on Amazon if you want the vinyl. You can get it directly from them. I get it directly from them because I like the interaction directly with the band. The band is still getting their cut from Amazon, but you just never know, do you? I can't wait for them to come over here. They'll just rip this country apart. You put them on a lineup with any other extreme band, and you know it'll just they'll take over. I think. I mean, the highlights on the album. Okay, sorry, I'm speaking away, but the highlights on the album for me are by far. There's a couple of really amazing tracks. Okay, so for me, I'd say, let me have a look here. What would I say is my favourite one? Starvation, very harsh, lyrically very difficult to listen to. Trigger warning, I think it could be for people who are struggling with a food-related disorder. I'd probably stick away from that one, guys. But the real one that I cannot stop, even when I'm in the bathroom, in the shower, I'm walking down the road, I'm singing along in my head to it, even if I'm not listening to it, is a track called Dark Night of the Soul. And then followed from The Ashes. Just, you know, and Bloodstained Heritage, Under the Black Wings, Possessed. Carly is an amazing track. Interestingly enough, right, Awakening, the opening track, is just like a few seconds of atmosphere. I'm not sure why bands do that. You know, you get an album, you've got 13 tracks, and one of them is 10 seconds of wind noises. It's not really an album. It's not a track, is it really? But anyway, that aside, bang, brilliant album. Well mixed. The vocals are typical death metal vocals, so there's not really real clean vocals in it. It is aggressive. So those out there, I know my listeners that don't listen to that sort of stuff, I still ask you, please, and I've got my hands together in prayer here, take it a listen. Even if it's not the whole album, listen to Dark Night of the Soul and in the Ashes. And just give that, From the Ashes, sorry. And give that a little listen. Whereas with bands like the Lizzies and Savage Master and Nightwish and Epica and Lacuna Coil and Arch Enemy, they're not going to, and Girls' School and Runaway and Warlock and things like, they're not going to challenge you. I think, and Burning Witches and Cobra Spell, another band that I really like that Sonia was in. They're not going to really challenge you vocally. Really, they are great, but they're not going to make you. Yeah. So if you're not sure about that sort of stuff, just dabble your toes in it, because I think that you'll find, like me, you'll go, this is the best album of extreme metal I have heard in a very long time. And if you don't know much about extreme metal, at least please go back to some of my episodes earlier back, have a listen and take note. As I said before, with extreme vocals, you sometimes have to look at the vocals like an instrument. If you don't like the way that the vocals come across and it hurts your ear because you're not used to it, try and think of it like a distorted guitar, like a distorted bass, like a synth. And then you might understand where that's coming from, that form of vocalization. Lyrically, it's diverse. The image is interesting. The band are, again, stunning performers live. They do what most guys just can't do at the moment. They fire me up. Man, I get excited by listening to them. I've just ordered another t-shirt. I can't wait to get another copy of the vinyl in a different color. Whenever they're gonna release a shirt. I think they are truly becoming one of my favorite bands at the moment. Let's hope they come and tour here. Let's hope they keep going for a long time. They've got other albums under their belt. It'd be a tough one to cover. Top Echoes of the Soul is, as I said on my review, again, please go back to, if you want to read a written review of the album, I did a review for Metal Ruse. I could put a link in the show notes if you like. It'll give you some idea where I'm coming from. It's easier to write it down sometimes than say it. But yes, anyway, I'm coming into the show. Please, as I said, go and try out a 5-star album from Brazilian death metal band Crypta in Echoes of the Soul. Grab anything from Savage Master, really, but I'd probably say Myth, Magic and Steel. And with the Lizzies, I'd do Good Luck first and On Thin Ice next. There's only 2 albums. They're 30-odd minutes long. They're not going to take your forever to listen to. Same with all these albums. They're not sitting around you 100 minutes. They're not trying to cram so much in that your day is, you can't spend time to devote to listen to them. We'll see you next week. Next week's going to be an interesting episode. It's with Benji. The sound quality might be interesting because we did it over one mic in my bedroom in the studio, and it's something we're going to bring in probably, hopefully once a month, the end of every month, a section with Benji. It might not be the whole show. It might just be half a show. But he's looking forward to it. He enjoyed doing it. We'll chat to you next week. Keep safe, keep rocking, and enjoy the albums. Bye, guys.
Get the best workout with the best-kept secret in fitness. Hydro, the state-of-the-art at-home rower. Hydro engages 86% of your muscles, delivering the ultimate full-body workout in just 20 minutes. From advanced to beginner, Hydro has over 4,000 classes that are shot all over the world and are taught by Olympians and world-class athletes. For a 30-day risk-free trial with free standard shipping, go to Hydro.com and use code ROW500 to save up to $500. That's HYDROW.com, code ROW500.
1-800-Flowers.com is more than your birthday, anniversary, or just because gift-giving destination. We put our hearts into everything we do to help you celebrate all life's special occasions with friends and family. From our farmers and bakers, florists and makers, everything from 1-800-Flowers is made with love every step of the way, because we know that nothing is more important than delivering a smile. To learn more, visit 1-800-Flowers.com/ACAST. That's 1-800-Flowers.com/ACAST.
Tired of ads barging into your favorite news podcasts? Good news. Ad-free listening on Amazon Music is included with your Prime membership. Just head to amazon.com/ad-free news podcasts to catch up on the latest episodes without the ads. Enjoy thousands of Acast shows ad-free for Prime subscribers. Some shows may have ads.